California in the 70s and 80s was different. Venice Beach wasn't just sand and waves. It was lowriders cruising slow down Whittier Boulevard with candy paint gleaming. It was roller skaters with Walkmans spinning down the boardwalk. It was the endless summer that never ended. The rest of the world, gray, cold, serious. California, pure Technicolor. A palm tree silhouetted against a purple and orange sky. A convertible, top-down, music loud, rolling down the Pacific Coast Highway. Wind in your hair, salt on your skin, the feeling that anything could happen. That's what California promised. And if you were there in those years, that promise was real. This is the story of when California wasn't just a place. It was the place. When Venice Beach meant muscle and roller skates. When East LA meant lowriders bouncing on hydraulics. When skateboarding meant breaking into empty pools during the drought. When the mall was a temple and bonfires lit up the beach at sunset. Let's go back to the golden age of cool. This video takes you back to California's golden age, the 70s and 80s, when Venice Beach was the center of the universe. Lowriders ruled East LA, skaters carved empty pools in Dogtown, and every night ended with bonfires on the sand. If you remember those years, or if you've only seen them in movies, drop a comment and let me know which scene speaks to you most. Hit that like button and let's take this trip together. The boardwalk was chaos, good chaos, the kind where everything was happening at once and somehow it all worked. Muscle Beach, the outdoor gym right on the sand, where guys lifted iron bars heavy enough to break concrete. Arnold Schwarzenegger trained there before he was famous, before he was anything, just another bodybuilder pumping weights in the sun. And then the roller skaters. Venice Beach in 1976 became the roller skating capital of the world. Not a title, a fact. Jeff and Mark Rosenberg opened the first skate rental on July 4th that year. By summer's end, the boardwalk was packed. Girls in tiny shorts, knee-high socks, and massive headphones. Guys in tank tops and aviators. Everyone gliding, dancing, showing off. The sound was everything. Music from boom boxes, disco, funk. War's Lowrider blasting from car stereos, the ocean roaring behind it all. Vendors shouting. Skate wheels humming on smooth concrete. It wasn't quiet. It wasn't calm. It was electric. It was alive. And if you weren't there, you wished you were. The smell mixed salt air with cocoa butter tanning oil. Hot dogs from street carts. Incense from the vendors selling beads and tie-dye. It all blended into something uniquely California, something you couldn't find anywhere else. People came from all over the world just to walk that boardwalk, just to see it, to feel it, to be part of it. If you grew up anywhere else, you watched this on TV and felt jealous, because Venice Beach wasn't just a place, it was a vibe, a frequency. And if you tuned in, if you showed up, you became part of something bigger than yourself. You became part of California. East LA had its own heartbeat, and that heartbeat rolled down Whittier Boulevard every Friday night. Lowriders, Chevrolet Impalas from the 50s and 60s, sitting so low the undercarriage almost scraped the street. Painted in candy colors, deep metallics that shimmered purple, gold, green, blue. Chrome so bright it hurt to look at. The motto was simple, low and slow. This wasn't about speed. It was about style, about turning heads, about making a statement. The hydraulics would kick in and the car would bounce, front end lifting, back end dropping, the whole car dancing in the street. Kids would cheer. Grown men would nod respect. This was art on wheels. Inside, the cars were just as stunning. Velvet interiors, magenta, purple, custom stitching. Murals painted on the hoods and trunks, Aztec warriors, the Virgin Mary, family names in Old English script. These weren't just cars. They were rolling altars, tributes, declarations of culture and pride and identity. Whittier Boulevard in the 70s was the pilgrimage. Every lowrider club in Southern California showed up. The street would fill, engines idling, music thumping from open windows, oldies, soul, early hip-hop. The cars would cruise slowly, deliberately, and everyone would watch. This was the show. This was the scene. This was home. The culture faced pushback. Laws tried to ban it. Police cracked down, but the lowriders didn't stop. They adapted, they fought back, and they won. Because this wasn't just about cars. It was about community, about family, about refusing to be invisible. And in California, especially in East LA, that mattered more than anything. Skateboarding was born in California, but it exploded in the 70s. And the reason? A drought. The worst drought Southern California had seen in decades. Pools dried up. Swimming pools in backyards across LA sat empty. And some kids looked at those empty pools and saw something else. They saw curves, bowls, ramps, possibilities. The Z-Boys, Dogtown, Venice, Tony Alva, Jay Adams, Stacy Peralta. These names became legends. They'd hop fences into backyards, drop into empty pools, and carve the concrete like waves, aggressive, fearless, rebellious. This wasn't figure skating on wheels. This was punk. This was dangerous. This was real. The style was everything. Long hair, torn jeans, tube socks pulled up high, Vans sneakers beat to hell barely holding together, knee pads, elbow pads, but no helmets, never helmets, because safety wasn't the point. The point was the ride, the adrenaline, the feeling of flying 3 feet off the ground before slamming back down. Skateboarding wasn't an Olympic sport yet. It wasn't mainstream. It was underground, countercultural, and that's what made it cool. You couldn't buy your way in. You had to earn it. You had to skate. You had to fall. You had to get back up and try again. And if you did that enough times, you belonged. Venice Skate Park opened in 1975. Wooden ramps, bowls, a place where skaters could gather legally. But half the fun was still sneaking into pools, still trespassing, still risking getting caught. Because that's what skateboarding was about: freedom, rebellion, and California gave them both. When the sun went down, everyone went to the mall. The mall wasn't just stores, it was the place to be, to see and be seen. Neon lights, pink, blue, purple, glowing in the windows, palm trees in planters, floors of checkerboard tile, music echoing through the corridors, Duran Duran, Madonna, Michael Jackson, Prince. Valley girls made the mall famous. That accent, that attitude. Like, oh my God, totally, it became a joke. But it was also real. Girls with big hair, hairsprayed to the ceiling, wearing leg warmers, denim jackets with the sleeves rolled up, high-waisted jeans. Boys in parachute pants and members-only jackets. Everyone trying to look cool. Everyone succeeding. The food court smelled like grease and sugar. Orange Julius stands with their frothy drinks, pizza by the slice. Sbarro, Cinnabon. The smell of cinnamon rolls could pull you from 3 stores away. You'd sit at the tables with your friends, splitting fries, watching everyone walk by, judging outfits, making plans. The arcade was in the back, always dark, loud, rows of machines glowing in the dim light. Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Galaga. You'd feed quarters into the slot and play until you ran out. The sounds, beeps, explosions, electronic music blended into one chaotic symphony, and you loved every second of it. The mall was more than shopping. It was culture. It was community. It was where you figured out who you were and who you wanted to be. And in California, where the sun never stopped shining, the mall was the one place that felt like it belonged to you. The perfect day ended on the beach, sand cooling under your feet, the sun dropping toward the horizon, and someone, always someone, would start building a bonfire, driftwood, scraps of cardboard, whatever burned. The fire would catch, flames licking upward, smoke drifting into the purple sky. California sunsets are different. The way the light hits the Pacific, the way the sky turns orange, then pink, then deep purple, the clouds catching fire. It's not just beautiful, it's surreal, like the sky is showing off. And everyone on the beach would stop, just for a minute, just to watch. You'd sit in a circle around the fire, hoodies pulled over your wet bathing suit because the night air turned cold fast. Your friends next to you. Maybe someone brought a guitar. Maybe someone brought beer they shouldn't have had, but mostly, you just sat there, talking, laughing, listening to the waves. The sound of the ocean at night is different than during the day. Deeper, steadier, like the earth breathing, the fire crackled. Someone would throw another piece of wood on. Sparks would fly up and disappear into the dark, and you'd feel it. That thing people talked about, that California feeling, freedom, youth, infinity. This was the dream, the endless summer, the golden age. And if you were there, if you lived it, you knew. You knew it couldn't last forever, but for those years, for those nights on the beach with the fire and the ocean and your friends, it felt like it could. It felt like California would always be young, always be cool, always be home. That was California in the 70s and 80s. Venice Beach and Muscle Beach. Lowriders cruising Whittier Boulevard. Skaters carving empty pools in Dogtown. Neon malls and valley girls. Bonfires on the sand under purple skis. It was the golden age of cool. And if you were there, you lived the dream everyone else only watched. Drop a comment and tell me which scene is your California, the boardwalk, the lowriders, the skate parks, the mall, or those bonfires at sunset. Let me know. And if you want more stories like this, just say the word.